Hello, dear friends of South Africa. This is me, the real Desmond Tutu. If I said to you that in South Africa we have the most extraordinary woman called Evita Bezetenoot, I would be lying to you. Evita Bezetenoot is a legend. And because we in South Africa can survive and enjoy Dani Evita, we are stronger and wiser.
Thank you very much, Archbishop Tutu. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, dames en heren. I'm so happy to be with you. It was touch and go. I've got so much to do today. I've just been to Clarence House to take the Queen Mother a bottle of gin. And it's no special South African gin, which keeps people very, very alive and very quiet for a long time. And I'm on my way to a dinner party. That's why I can't stay very long. My friend Kenneth Clark is giving a dinner party, and I said I'd help him with the hors d'oeuvres and, of course, the pudding, because I make my lovely cook sisters and my milk tart. And I also brought Kenneth a lovely box of a lager, castle lager from South Africa, and some hush puppies made by the Bushmen. So he's very, very excited. And I must say, it was a wonderful experience also welcoming our state president, Thabo Mbeki, here on his first state visit. The Queen gave us a wonderful dinner at Windsor Castle. I've never been to something so impressive. There was a long table, over 300 people at the same table. I mean, I've been doing catering for a long time, and I've never catered for 300 people. Well, we could never find so many who were on our side. Maar nou ja, dit's nie die punt nie. It was very elegant, and lots of crystal and silver and gold and beautiful, and nobody took anything. When I give a dinner party in South Africa, we never have to wash up because they take it all. And of course, the gold is in the crockery, or the knives and forks, pure gold. But of course, they stole the gold from us, Mike Willina Dargan. So it was a wonderful dinner. I wore this beautiful dress there. I sat next to Prince Edward's little wife, Sophie, the Countess of Middlesex, and she was so impressed and fascinated by the little South African flag, which was, of course, on the table. And she noticed the little yellow Y in the flag. She called it a little Y front. Ek sê nie my magdag, it's a South African flag. I said, but actually that yellow Y was inspired by the yield sign, which is very symbolic of South African politics. Because if you yield to the left, nothing is right. And if you yield to the right, nothing is left. Of course, Thabo Mbeki was so impressive. I was so pleased. He looked every inch a president. We got him a lovely suit from Aquascutum. They had a nice sale. And so we also got him a very nice purple presidential sash from one of the Cape Coon Carnival troops in Cape Town. They lent it to us. And we put some Tipex in his beard to make him look old, and we put him on a box. He looked so nice. He stood up there and he made his speech. And you know, he's such an intellectual. He quoted from all the poets and playwrights of English literature, Shakespeare and Woolworths and Thesaurus. Brilliant. And I must say, I watched Queen Elizabeth. She was sitting next to him, and she was looking up at Thabo, and I could read her mind. She was thinking, this is the son I never had. Thabo Mbeki would have been such a perfect Prince of Wales, such a perfect crown prince for the House of Windsor, because he looks so right. I mean, he's got a little beard, he smokes a pipe, he quotes Shakespeare, he doesn't talk to the vegetables, he doesn't fall off his horse, he lives very, very far away, and there's no one walking behind him called Camilla. So I was so, she's the poor Queen, I think she's really strained. She's had so many anus horribili and magdag. I popped in this morning to take a present to her mother, and anybody who's got a mother of 101 deserves everybody's sympathy. I think Thabo Mbeki has really shown the world that he is a man of substance, in spite of all the very, very difficult handicaps that he has. I mean, we all know that Thabo Mbeki is a deeply disadvantaged member of the ANC executive because Thabo Mbeki was never in jail. Everybody else was in jail except Thabo. That's why he sleeps on the kitchen floor every Friday night to catch up with the cabinet. All the other comrades in the ANC were in jail following Nelson Mandela's example, and it was a very clear example that politicians now first go to jail and then into politics and not the other way around. And so, of course, Thabo Mbeki went straight into exile. We let him go. We didn't think he was that important. And, of course, he came here to the United Kingdom, and you gave him this wonderful Eurocentric education. He actually told me, confidentially, of course, that he was educated at the University of Sussex. Is this possible? Is there a place like that? It's not called the Brighton Polytechnic, is it? Of course, Thabo Mbeki was also educated at the Moscow University, which is obvious, by the way he's running South Africa. And of course, when he came back from exile in 1990, that's when I met him for the first time. In 1990, at the Market Theatre restaurant in Johannesburg, I met him with Van Zyl Slabbert. I thought he was Slabbert's driver. He was so elegant. He was so nice to me. I think Thabo is doing very well. I know there are problems in South Africa, especially with his name, Thabo. For those of us who play Scrabble, the name Thabo can also spell Botha. I think it's very unfair for everybody to put this whole AIDS debacle at Thabo Mbeki's feet. It's so unfair because, I mean, look here in your country, nobody talks about it. Your Prime Minister, Tony Blair, never even mentioned HIV AIDS during his election platform. You don't educate your children at school about it. There are no posters. Yeah, you've got a very healthy perspective on this thing. Of course, in South Africa, it is different, and there are problems, and I'm very aware of them, and I'm very sympathetic because I am a Christian. I think it's terrible what's happening to the poor blacks. It is so unfair. They don't deserve all this. They first had colonialism, then apartheid, now this AIDS. See, stop, my heart really goes out to them. But it's really got nothing to do with me because we can't get this thing. We are white and Christians and Afrikaans. But of course, one has to be sympathetic, and it is a democracy. And of course, my children are involved. My son, he is a difficult boy, and he is in jail. Well, he volunteered. When his friend Eugène Ter Blanche was sent to jail, my son Izan went along. Of course, Eugène Ter Blanche, is the leader of the neo-Nazi Afrikaner resistance movement. Well, very little resistance and absolutely no movement. When they found out that he'd beaten up his black garden boy, he got 6 years in jail, and my son went along to help him. Of course, Izan goes to the canteen and gets the tray with food and then takes it to Eugène in his cell because Eugène Ter Blanche doesn't leave his cell. No, he's too frightened. He stands with his back against the wall 24 hours a day. And so a few weeks ago, I went to take Izan some Hello magazines, and he looked so happy. I said, is it because the food is better? You look so happy. He said, no, Mama, look at the paper. Isn't it wonderful? Thanks to AIDS, Afrikaners will soon rule South Africa again. I said, no, Izan, there's a huge black majority ruling South Africa. He said, yes, Mama, but not for long. Not with AIDS. Because you know, Mama, the black men will not wear condoms. And so they infect the black women, who will infect the black children. And as this will go on, soon there will be so few black people left, we'll have a white majority government with Eugène Ter Blanche as president of South Africa. Gits, I can believe that. Eugène Ter Blanche will not get AIDS. The HIV virus has got good taste. Never started a show in the bar before with the audience. It's riveting. Oh, there are some South Africans lurking here. I heard you. Oh my God, it's all so expensive. Oh, where's the doctor who spoke to me in the bar who said he used to live in Johannesburg? You got the name wrong, by the way, of our Minister of Health. Her name is not Mandy. It's Manto. Manto Chabalala Mitsima. Mandy. Shows how long ago you were in South Africa. Then all the black maids were called Mandy, and Blossom, and Precious, and Beauty. No, man, no more black maids in the kitchen. They're all in Parliament. And they're not called Mandy, they're called Manto. Manto Chabalala Mitsima. You now need a university degree in order to pronounce their names properly. President of the ANC Women's League, Winnie Madikizela Mandela. That's also very practical, because by the time they've called that name out in court, she's already in the taxi on the way home. Minister of Foreign Affairs in Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. You see, lots of consonants, one vowel, and two hyphens. And that's usually in the surname alone. Oh, and talking of our mother of the nation, I think your mother of the nation lied when she said that horror movie was about her. The Mummy Returns. It wasn't about Maggie, it was about Winnie. I mean, Winnie Madikizela Mandela. Have you ever known a black cat with so many lives? I love it when South Africans who've lived in London ask questions. The two people in the bar said to me just now, Peter, just tell us quickly, how bad are things in South Africa? I mean, are they really bad? I mean, how bad are things really in South Africa? Well, obviously they must be bad, otherwise there's no point in you living here. So, okay, let's get bad out of the way. Yes, things are bad. We have corruption, we have crime, we have all the things that have made us a very successful third world African democracy. But you don't actually read about us on the front page anymore. If you want to read about South Africa, you go to page 16 of The Guardian or page 17 of The Independent, below the fold, in that little section, World in Brief. Oh yes, let's do World in Brief, page 17. Only allow 2 African stories today. What do we have? Mugabe's gone mad. Yes, use that again. Sierra Leone's pulling itself together. Jolly good, that's it for today. What do you mean South Africa's imploded? We'll have to use that on Friday. And the violence is totally unacceptable. I mean, it is appalling. But then don't forget we have 3 armies who were trained to fight a civil war, and the civil war was cancelled. But I find it terrible to watch the violence on television, on the news. I saw it the other day again, this naked hatred between the young Asian youths and the young white youths. But then I can't work out. Oldham and Bradford, where the hell are they in South Africa? Are they in Natal? And yes, there's corruption. I suppose corruption goes hand in hand with democracy. In some countries it's called corruption. In other places it's regarded as policy. Of course, they now say the present ANC government is more corrupt than the previous apartheid government. Nothing can be more corrupt than the previous apartheid government. Nothing. It's just the present government is better at it. But don't be too amused by third world corruption. Look in your own backyard. The boss of Railtrack got more from the railways than Ronnie Biggs did. I'm putting together a woman you've not met before. She's not the most famous white woman in South Africa. This is her sister, Bambi Kellerman. Now, both Bambi and Evita were born in South Africa in the province of the Orange Free State, born in the little town of Bethlehem. Of course, every time Evita says she was born in Bethlehem, she does add that she was born in a house. Because the stables were for blacks only. Ich bin von Kopf bis Fuß auf Liebe eingestellt. Und das ist meine Welt. Und sonst gar nicht. Ich bin, was soll ich machen? Meine Natur. Ich kann halt lieben nur. Und sonst gar nicht. Männer umschwirrt mich wie im Notterm das Licht. Und sie verdrennen, ja, dafür kann ich nicht. No, darlings, you don't actually know who I am. I've never been here before. My name is Bambi Kellerman. The only reason I've come here is because I've heard that I was on the program, and I'm on the poster, and my sister is not. Evita Bezuidenhout is my sister. I'm afraid she does not like me. In fact, she hates me. I suppose because I'm younger and thinner. In fact, if she knew that I was already here, she would not turn up later on, so let's keep that a secret, okay? Although I can assure you, my sister and I will never appear in the same place at the same time. Of course, I am an Afrikaner, believe it or not. Ik is een Afrikaner. Ich bin ein Afrikaner. I left Bethlehem in 1956 to go to Austria. There was a hairdressing competition, which I did not win. But I went on to conquer the land, the country, the people. I got a job in Vienna in a bar, dancing. And why shouldn't I dance? I'm an Afrikaans girl. I've also got a sense of rhythm. In the bar was an old German singer. Her name was Sarah Leander. And she introduced me to the man who would eventually become my husband. He was a very elegant German man, an older man. For our honeymoon, we went to Munich, and there he introduced me to all his friends in a beer hall. A beer hall in München. That's when I realized that I had married a Nazi. I had married General Joachim von Kellermann, who had been one of the commandants in the concentration camp of Belsen-Belsen. But please, understand, I did not know what a Nazi was. After all, I was just an Afrikaner. Of course, my husband is dead. He died in Paraguay. He was then already Minister of War in the government of Alfredo Stroessner. And the day that my husband, General Joachim von Kellermann, died in 1988 was the first time that I, as his wife, could really laugh. But then again, one comes to terms with one's terrible personal bereavements. Never mind. I brought him with me. I don't leave him in the hotel room. I think he steals my things. Joachim, schlafst du noch? Liebchen, wir sind zurück in London. Bei dieser verdammte Engländer. No, he is still asleep. I must say I love coming to London. I don't come here to shop at Harrods. I can do that in Dubai. I come here to London to get my medication, my cocktails, my AZT. I suppose today you can live with AIDS, especially in the first world, if you can afford the drugs. And happily here in London, I don't have to pay for the drugs. I still have my old national health card. Yeah, in the old days, sex was so simple. I mean, all you got was clap crabs or a court case. Nowadays, it's very, very complicated. In fact, you have to be so terribly careful. Joachim, Liebchen, we are back in London. Do you remember how lucky and happy we were here in the 60s? I had such a lovely job dancing at the Raymond Review Bar in Soho. Yeah, I wanted to get involved in Tory politics, but Miss Christine Keeler got there before me. I see in the latest Hello magazine, my good old friend Jeffrey Archer now has his own room without a view. He still owes me money, the sleazy bastard. Joachim, Liebchen, let me show you where we are. Can you see, darling? We are here in the Tricycle Theatre in Kilburn. And Joachim, look who is sitting in the audience. Lots and lots of Jews. You failed. My God, you remember what a horrible husband you were? Treating me so badly for all those years, treating me like a wife. W-I-F-E, washing, ironing, fucking, etc. And I will never forget how you used to beat me. Every night in Easton, you beat me over and over again because I wouldn't do what you demanded. You kept on saying to me, Bambi, in the name of the Führer, I command you to give me a blowjob. And I said, no. Well, darling, here it is. One minute she's on, the next minute she's off. No, man. This is one of the sad moments for me. I've now got to take off all the nice things. I like all these things. All my nice little bits and pieces. And now I've got to take off the nails. Of course, these are very practical, these nails, especially in the rush hour. You get a taxi immediately. Out of my way, you bitch! Okay, so let me quickly put the nails, Bambi's nails, into a little box. There we are. And also her eyelashes. Now, wait, hang on. This is quite a sore. Uh-huh. Okay. So let me put on my boy's shoes and then I can... What is it? Still got makeup on? No? Sorry. Oh, it's... Hello, David Beckham. There we are. I've got him off. But you know, we South Africans aren't sissies when it comes to viruses. For over 40 years, we had a virus that had no cure called the virus of apartheid. And hundreds of thousands of people died, and millions had their lives changed forever. But at last, we did find a cure called democracy. So now I go for the mock in democracy and try and find the con in reconciliation. But at least the virus of apartheid was visible. I mean, we could see it. It had colors. It had a culture. It had signs everywhere. Whites only, blacks only, slacks blancas, no dogs or natives allowed. And we knew where the perpetuators of the virus lived. They lived either in Parliament or on the TV news. Well, I think they had a timeshare in the TV set. Because every time you switched on your TV, there they were. You notice I don't even need makeup to do that old fucker anymore, hey? They used to warn me all those years ago. They said, you keep on doing P.W. Botha, you'll end up looking like him one day. Well, there he was. Apartheid. Apartheid is just a pigment of the imagination. And yes, we laughed at him because, well, he did look damn ridiculous. But we actually laughed because he frightened us to death. He was so powerful. You don't know the concept of total political power in this country. Where a little man like P.W. Botha could pick up a phone and end somebody's life without saying a word. And yes, we laughed because that was all we could do, laugh at our fear, and maybe make that fear less fearful. And of course, when you laugh, you don't have to show it, you know, you can shake a little bit, feel it here. And I was also blessed with a government with absolutely no sense of humor at all. So it became my aim in life to make them so angry with laughter, to drive them so crazy with humor that they have heart attacks and die. And I had some success. But now those days are over. The virus of apartheid is in remission. We are now a democracy. I mean, politics in South Africa no longer kills, it just irritates. So I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to make fun of my fear of politicians, because if we don't like today's politicians, we can vote them out of power. Easy in a black majority. So who must I now do? Our new Minister of Security, Steve Tshwete. Okay. Minister of Defense, Terry Lakota. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Nkosazana Zuma. The white leader of the opposition, Tony Leon. It's not necessary because the news is good. I mean, look how lucky we are. We have got the greatest constitution in the world, and you don't even have one. We have a Bill of Rights, and you have brass eye. We had a Truth Commission, and all you have to say is, oh God, I'm so sorry. We have Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu, and you have Tony Blair. And we have the greatest incidence of HIV/AIDS in the world. While the first world is burying the lambs, the third world is burying the babies. So yes, the minefield has moved from politics to sex. Now that really frightens me, because sex is the most democratic thing in the world. I mean, everybody is interested in sex. Not everybody is interested in politics or voting, as you people demonstrated not so long ago. 59% of the British public bothered to vote in the general election, but over 80% voted for Big Brother. George Orwell, you've got royalties due. So the fact is, sex kills. The fact is, there is a virus called HIV, which leads to AIDS. 99.9% of the world knows this. 99.9% of the world believes that HIV leads to AIDS. However, in South Africa, we have that 0.1% that doesn't. Honored fellow medical experts, visiting doctors, interested dissidents, and members of the media. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Taboo McBecky. And I know you doubt my medical qualifications just because I'm black. I don't care. I'm in charge. I think it is very pertinent for me to confront this thing as I have confronted it in the past, and as I will confront it in the future. And so let me repeat that with conviction. And say here most categorically that I know it is there. And as long as we know it is there, it is there. But where? And so it is very important to not just reflect in a theoretical way, but to see it practically. And know that this HIV/AIDS thing is a reality, but also to be inspired, as I'm always, by the words of the bard from Stratford-upon-Avon, William Shakespeare, who now, thanks to the African Renaissance, we have found out was the illegitimate son of a West African slave woman working in London at the time. His original words in Swahili are very inspiring, but I will stick to the English translation and quote as follows. To be or not to be sure about the link between HIV and AIDS, this is the question. Whether it is noble in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of the great pharmaceutical giants, or to take arms against their sea of expensive drugs, and by stealing their patents, destroy them, to die, to slip, or perchance to dream of a Zulu witch doctor's cure. How? There is the racist rub. For this HIV/AIDS is surely just the result of poverty and unemployment. I cannot believe that AIDS will succeed where apartheid failed. As our great Khoisan poet Kwa said, and I quote, immortal clicks that were eventually translated into English by Christopher Marlowe, who, thanks to the African Renaissance, we have also rediscovered his Ethiopian roots. Words that I quote in the English translations as follows. Forsooth, 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 the racist media maketh merry with the facts and addeth to our multiple confusions. Our virtual president. Look, it must be very difficult filling the steps of our great and beloved guardian angel. But as the time goes by, Nelson Mandela's footsteps seem to get bigger and bigger while Thabo Mbeki gets smaller and smaller. I just wished he'd stop talking so much crap about HIV and AIDS. I mean, how the hell are we going to keep a nation alive? By encouraging them to protect themselves against HIV and AIDS if the president says there's no connection. How are you going to say this to the kids? How are they going to protect themselves if they don't know what's going on? You've got to find out everything about it. Okay, the safer sex is no sex, but this is not a musical. Sex is going to happen, and it's not such a bad thing. Life must go on. So you say to the boys, okay, boys, find your parachutes. If your airplane goes down, know what to do with your parachute. Get your condom, and go into your room and practice with your condom. Switch on the light. Do it in the light. Oops. Don't wait till it's dark, otherwise you'll put it onto your big toe because that's the biggest thing you've got. And don't believe the urban legend that condoms are safe. Certainly not in South Africa. 2 years ago, our Department of Health under Dr. Zuma released 44 million free condoms into society, each with a little card, telling us in 11 languages how to use the condom. And then what did they do? They took each condom and each card and they stapled them together! 44 million death warrants are now out there. So take nothing for granted. I am now going to give you a demonstration on how to put a condom on an erect male penis. In this box, I have an erect male penis. I will take it out and I will show you the erect male penis. Right, now I will take a condom out and I will very carefully put the condom on the erect male penis, which means that once the condom is on the erect male penis, you are safe to pursue something you have obviously been planning for the whole day. Also, there you are. The condom is now safely on the erect male penis. No, this is not an erect penis. This is a banana. But you know how many people who watch this demonstration look and think, what? Is that what we must do? We must put the condom on the banana. And then we leave the banana with the condom on the banana on the bedside table. And then it's fine, it's safe, we can fuck without a condom. No, darling, no. Boys and men do not have bananas between their legs. Boys and men have got penises between their legs, yeah? This is a penis. Don't look so depressed, yours will grow. This is a penis, this is a banana. For heaven's sake, get your facts right. For the last year, I've been traveling around schools in South Africa. 160 schools with an AIDS awareness entertainment, going from first world to third world in an hour. First world, school like Rustenburg Girls High School in Cape Town, where, of course, they don't have sex. I mean, they have everything else. They have education and computers and language and culture and art and contacts all over the world and green cards. And then within an hour, you cross the freeway from the first world into the third world. There you are in Gugulethu, the black township, at a school that could come straight out of the Gaza Strip. It's in a war zone. There's no glass in the windows. There are no doors. There's no electricity. There are no desks. There's no teaching. There's just terror and guns and kids with dreams. Or you go to a farm school, which means there is no school, just a farm. And so you stand under a tree with a cow. And the cow wouldn't go away. So I said to the kids, I said, look at the cow. The cow is just as frightened as we are. The cow also wants to know about safe sex because look at the bull. We all screamed and hid behind the cow. What do you say to 300,000 kids, other people's children, about the fact that there's an army outside the door with guns and weapons and you'll never see them because they're invisible? They're waiting around every corner. First of all, you started by saying, my name is Pieter-Dirk Uys and I'm not a medical expert like President Thabo Mbeki. Yes, they laugh, but they don't laugh with him, they laugh at him because they're also pissed off. They don't need confusion. And they don't want to be treated like children. I mean, how can there be children around something called AIDS? I met a 9-year-old boy who was the father of a child who had been born HIV. I met a little girl of 8 selling her body for sex because she needs the money to feed her brothers and sisters because their parents died of AIDS and there is no one to help them. So where are the children? They've done a survey and there are some young women in the United Kingdom who think that if they keep their eyes tightly closed during intercourse, they will not fall pregnant. No, they'll just not see the face of the fucker. I mean, excuse me, what is this nonsense? You're supposed to be a first world country. You're so sophisticated. You know everything. You lead the world. I mean, you are part of G8. People are killed to protect your prime minister, the extraordinary Tony Blair. And yet there are still girls in this country who think that if they stand on a telephone directory, they won't fall pregnant. If they jump up and down after sex, they won't fall pregnant. If they have sex in a boat, they won't fall pregnant. And then you laugh at the third world. Oh, third world. Oh, yes. Yes, of course, third world. It's nice to be part of the third world. We Africans are interesting. We've got a better imagination than you have, that's for sure. And so we don't all have to be black either. Ha, 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 ha. And yes, of course, there are some real mad bastards in Africa, like here. President of Kenya, Arap Moi, who will not spend millions on condoms to protect his people because he wants the money for himself. At least he's honest. So he says to the people, no, you will just not have sex for 2 years. That'll catch on. Hello? Edenhope Police Station, Sergeant Minnie here. Yes, lady, you've come through to the charge office? Oh, when did you... Oh, you spoke to somebody 20 minutes ago? Who did you talk to here? Yeah, Sergeant Nene. No, he does work here. Oh, I see. He said he was doing a docket. No, he lies. He can't write. Don't worry, I'll do the docket, lady. I'm here on duty. Just give me a few moments and I will get everything in order. Okay. Now, lady, I am going to present you with some probabilities and then you must pick out the possibility. Okay? What do you wish to report? A, break-in. B, armed robbery. C, murder. No, lady. Hang on, lady. I've got to go through the formality to fill the docket in properly. This is the way it's supposed to be done, okay? C, murder. D, hijacking. E, rape. F, no, lady, you're talking too fast. Please, lady. Look, if I must write down anything in the docket, you must slow down. I don't know what you're saying. What are you saying? Have you been raped? Oh, wait. You've not been raped. Hang on, I must write in the word not. Hang on. I don't understand. What do you mean you've been threatened with rape? Oh, you would. No, of course. No, of course, lady, I understand. Of course you're frightened. Yes, my goodness me. Yes, I know, it's very... Yeah. We see it on TV all the time. It's very bad. Yeah, well, they say 1 million women raped a year, but I think that's... Well, never mind, it is bad. And of course you don't want to be infected with AIDS, lady. I understand, of course I do. No, but you know... I'm sorry, I don't really know what you're talking about if you cry so much. Just talk first and cry later, okay? Now, first tell me, how do you know that they want to rape you? I mean, do you know these people? You what? You opened your security gate to 3 strange men? Yeah, lady, are you bloody mad? What do you mean they were hungry? Who cares? No, lady, please. I mean, come on. If you're going to claim anything from insurance and give this as one of the reasons on your docket, you won't get a penny. Don't ever say this again. Just don't ever mention this. No, say they climbed over your wall. Then pretend you've got a wall, lady. Come on, yes, like lady. Oh, just hang on. People, can somebody answer the other phones? They're all flashing red lights. People, please. Hello? Okay, lady, hang on. Let me just write. Okay, give me a moment, lady. I have to sort through 11 official languages here, okay? Right, okay. These, where are these suspects, by the way? Are they outside? In the street? Oh, in the garden. Okay. Now, have these suspects tried to gain entry to your house? Yes. Do you have a security system in your house? Yes. Did your security system go off? Yes. What? What do you mean no response? You've been what? This is very... Wait. Give me the name of the security firm. No, I must have the name. It's part of the formality. I must fill it into the docket, lady. Listen, these criminals are so clever. They create their own security firms, and the reason they don't come is because they're already there. Do you understand? Okay, do you have a licensed firearm in your possession? Yes. Oh, when? Oh, did you report that immediately? Here? Oh, who did you talk to? Yes, well, well, he's got a suspended sentence. We won't see him for 2 years. Let me just, I don't know where he did put that docket. Let me just make a note here, lady. I'll just say on the top of the docket, gun was stolen on the 14th of March. Yeah, lady, that's over 3 months without a gun. You're living very dangerously, eh? I heard some glass breaking. What are they breaking? Where are you, by the way? Are you in your bedroom? Do you have burglar bars on the windows? Oh, you've got the latest trellis door system. No, but that gives us more time here with the docket. Let's just finish here, shall we? So you have no gun, your gun was stolen. I've just said see note on top of page 2 of docket. Okay, how many security dogs do you have at present? 2. What is the make of your security dog? Is it A Rottweiler, B, a pit bull? Ach, no, lady, that's not a dog. Those bloody poodles will lick the burglars to death, man. Get a decent dog, eh? No, I'm sorry, we can't come now. No, we're understaffed and overstressed, lady. And no, we have no transport. Our police van was hijacked last week. And let's face it, lady, nothing has really happened yet. Eh? I mean, you are... Yes, I know you're frightened. Of course you... Yes, of course you must phone us. That's what we're here for, lady. No, we're very happy to talk to you. It's very nice. But you must please underline the fact that you are okay. Are you okay? I must put this in the docket. That at 3:47, she said that she was okay. Okay, now where are these suspects now? By the way, is this your mobile phone? Mobile phone. Can you recharge in your bedroom? Oh, God, you better talk quickly. Okay. I think you better start by describing these 3 men. Yes, give me a description, please, lady. No, wait. Lady, hang on. Hello? Lady. Wait. We cannot take ethnic descriptions, eh? No, lady, it's unconstitutional. No, it's racist. I can't write that about their noses and their lips. I really can't. Wait a minute, I'll tell you what, I'm going to write here in the docket that all 3 suspects had a visible sense of rhythm. I want to share some postcards and snapshots with you of the last few months. Okay, let me start in Darling, where I live, a little village up the west coast. From Cape Town, I go to a school in the rain, Cape Rain, which is very English, Cape Rain. It's a school for disadvantaged, handicapped kids, mentally and physically handicapped kids. So the first 6, 7 rows of the little hall are full of wheelchairs. I mean, some traditional wheelchairs, but some really sophisticated wheelchairs that look like little whatever, they Star Wars wikis, like this. Some of the kids are really badly damaged, and they can't even look at the stage, but they look at mirrors. So they're watching it in a mirror, and they can't laugh, but they hoot. Beep, 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 beep. And afterwards, they all wanted to meet me, and I met them, and they made me feel like an old Spice Girl. It was fantastic. And then the teacher said, the chappie in the front, he wants to talk to you. He wants an autograph. And I look and I see the chappie in the front. I think it's a child. Very, very Stephen Hawking, like this. And like all decent, normal people, you look at somebody like that and you think, oh, shame. Anyway, I go to him and I touch his arm. It's shaking. I say to the teacher, God, is he okay? She said, of course he's okay. He's having the most wonderful time of his life. Go and talk to him. I said, go and talk to him. And I look, and he's not 9 years old. He's a young man. He must be 17. A beautiful face, a gorgeous smile, and twinkly blue eyes that look straight into my soul. He heard me think, oh, shame. And he said, yeah, you're the very first person who's ever been frightened that I might catch AIDS. I said, but I am. He said, yeah, but most people think I can never have sex, but you know what? One day I'm going to have sex, and I promise I'll wear a condom. Yes! Wonderful. Oh, God. 1:30 in the morning, my phone rings at home. Somebody's doing an Evita Personate voice in my ear. Peter! I think, oh, God, what is this now? I said, who is it? Peter, this is Mrs. van Niekerk here from the Robertson Reformatory. Oh, Peter, please come and talk to our boys. They're all HIV. Reformatory, not a school, a jail. 150 boys between the age of 10 and 16. In for murder and rape and adult things, plus with HIV. In fact, a boy had been arrested on the Friday for stealing a car, and on Saturday morning they found out that he'd actually borrowed his father's car without permission, but they couldn't get him out till Monday, by which time he'd been raped 3 times and he was also HIV. What do you say to 150 young people who are in jail for serious crime, plus with a virus that has no cure? What do you say? Anyway, so there I am eventually with the staff having lunch. Now, all of the people there, all the staff are called Van Niekerk. I think they breed around there. Dr. Van Niekerk, Mrs. Van Niekerk, Sister Van Niekerk, Tannie Van Niekerk, Oom Van Niekerk, Sarah Van Niekerk, Jannie Van Niekerk, the whole box and dice Van Niekerk. And we're having a braaivleis barbecue and talking Afrikaans, being deeply Rococo. And I say to the principal, who's a Dr. Van Niekerk, I say, Doctor, I didn't quite understand the reaction to the question in there. Do these young men have access to condoms? Oh, what? I say the word condom. All the knives and forks, guarra, into the plates. He says, oh, Peter, yes, if they need those things, they can go and ask Sister Van Niekerk. Sister Van Niekerk has got a moustache. I said, oh, I see, Dr. Van Niekerk. In order to prevent HIV from spreading in your establishment, if the 15-year-old boy man wants to rape the 10-year-old boy child, he's got to go and ask her for a condom. Yes, but Peter, we don't use words like that at table. Anyway, we don't give them condoms because it encourages sex. I said, what? He said, yes, condoms will encourage sex. Hey, psst, do you want sex? No. Are you sure? Yes. I've got a condom. Oh, now I'm encouraged. Not even one of the 160 places I visited, not one had a condom dispensing machine available, just in case sex happens and somebody needed a parachute. And there I am in the the coloured village in the Hout Bay High School, which caters for the poor kids, because the richer kids go to richer schools with other richer kids. And so there we're doing this, and I am mesmerized by this beautiful girl in the third row. She looks like a model. She's taller than the others, and wonderful thin neck, and just incredible bone structure. I mean, amazing, but very restless. And then somebody brings her a cushion, and she sits, and I realize she's not a model. She's got AIDS. That's why she's so thin and so uncomfortable. And afterwards, I go to her name is Christine, and I say, Christine, how are you? She said, no, Peter, I'm fine, you know. And it's so nice to see you here at the school. We see you always on the TV, you know, you and Evita. And it was so good to hear you say these things. It's very important, you know, Peter, also to laugh at what's frightening, you know. And I said this to sister at the clinic when I heard you were coming. I said, oh, please, I must also go. Please, can I come? So I came with her because, you know, I was at the school, but now I've got AIDS, you see, Peter. But I wanted to come so the kids can see me here, you know. Because even though I've got AIDS, I want them to see that I also belong. I can also be here. Hey, Peter, I can be here. Hey, I said, of course, darling, of course you can be here. And I said, what about your medication? Yeah, Peter, you know, the pharmaceuticals got a lot of publicity recently because they said they were giving us free drugs and I get a free pill, which I'm very grateful for, you know, Peter, but oh God, it's a terrible pill, you know. I get so sick, man. I can't think. It makes me mad. I think I can't live with that pill. I'd rather die from the AIDS than take this free pill, you know, Peter. I said, but isn't there something better for you to take? Yeah, Peter, there are 3 pills, you know, there by the clinic, 3 pills you take together and you can live, it's okay, but oh, that's 50 rand a month, you know, we don't have that money, you know, 50 rand, you know, Peter. That's £5 a month. But you know, the priorities are clear. And President Thabo Mbeki knows where those priorities are. And that's why he won't allow AZT to be given to rape women or mothers with AIDS to prevent their children from being born HIV. He just won't allow it. Oh, he gives it to his own cabinet and members of his Politburo because it shows what a nice man he is. But Thabo Mbeki has got to find £5 billion to pay you. Because that's what we owe Britain. We bought things from Britain. We must pay. Business is business. We must pay for those arms. You know, the British guns with French bullets that don't fit. With complicated instruction books in German that no one in South Africa will be able to read, but we want them so that our politicians can get their kickbacks and their free 4x4 Mercedes-Benzes. And then, of course, Thabo Mbeki is deeply, deeply committed to the African Renaissance, which basically means that if Salmon Jomo of Namibia has a jet this big, and Mugabe has a jet this big, and Gaddafi has a jet this big, Thabo wants a jet this big. So that's another few £1 billion gone. So please, Christine from Hout Bay, darling, priority before sentiment. Go on, swallow your free pill and have a nice day. Yes, in the old South Africa, we killed people. Yes. Now we just let them die. Oh my God, now where is that maid? Dora! Will you please come and help me get ready? I must still do my hair. Oh, and Dora, please come and help me sort out all these ribbons. I never know what... Darling, what is the disease tonight, eh? I mean, I get so mixed up. I mean, last week I was collecting money for the SPCA, but my ribbon was the wrong color, so all my money went to anorexia. Dora, what is this pink one? Is that for breast cancer or kidneys? Oh, the purple one is for Alzheimer's, hey? Or is it? Is it the red ribbon tonight? Okay, Dora, wear your red ribbon. Next to a nice black, on a black dress or next to a nice black skin. Yes, it'll look divine, darling. It'll look fantastic on the TV. Oh, God, I'm so late. I've got so much to do to get ready. But let me just tell you, I think I was the first person in Cape Town to wear the red ribbon. Yeah, 1985. Just after Rock Hudson died. Oh, shame. I was devastated. I loved Rock Hudson. And then I found out that he was a homosexual. I said, how's that possible? He used to kiss Doris Day. I mean, does that make her a lesbian, you know? I mean, I never know how these things work. And so they said, no, Rock Hudson, he died of a thing called AIDS. I said, oh, God, that sounds so official. How did he get it? They said, oh, probably through anal sex. I said, excuse me. I'm from Sea Point. What the hell is anal sex? My God, it's sex up the bum. They're cis, man. That's so unnatural. I mean, the bum's there for the lavatory, not for sex. I mean, what do these homosexuals expect if they do it that way? Of course they're going to get sick. I mean, it's like the drug addicts use the same dirty needles to pump themselves full of drugs, and then they get sick. And the prostitutes sleep with everybody, and they get sick, and then they come to normal, decent people like us. And we've got to give them our time and money to make them happy. Oh, no, my dear, I'm sorry. I mean, for a long time, I thought AIDS was not so much a disease, but more of a cure. You know? But now, of course, the blacks are getting it, and that's terrible because as a white liberal, I've always been on the side of the blacks. And I said this to Dora, and Dora's a causer. I said, Dora, why are the black men getting AIDS? All the people are getting AIDS. What's happening? Oh, madam, she says, the black men won't wear condoms. I said, why? Oh, she says, the black men see condoms as a white racist way to prevent them from having big families. I said, no, Dora. The black men are too big. They can't fit into the condoms, you know. Oh, wake me when it's over. Last year for AIDS Day, we did a TV program with Evita Besaidnout, and we took her to a hospice to basically just show how unnecessary all this fear is of catching AIDS, especially if you keep your clothes on, as Evita does. So we took her to Nazareth House in Cape Town. Nazareth House has got 40 AIDS orphans, which means these are kids with AIDS who had parents who died of AIDS, or these are kids with AIDS whose parents threw them out because they were too frightened, they didn't know how to handle it. So we're talking about 40 dying children. That's what they said to me. They said, you don't want to go there? Do you want to go to dying children? I thought, no, God, I don't know. Oh, what rubbish, they're not dying, they're living. They're the most divine kids you've ever met in your life. They've all got names and little toys, personalities, little dungarees, fantastic hairstyles, energy, and there's Evita Besaidnout in the lounge, terrified to death. Mr. Besaidnout, would you like some tea? I didn't bring my own cup. You won't catch it from the cup. Don't you want to use the toilet? I might catch it from the toilet seat. No, Mrs. Besaidnout, go play with the children. Should they be behind glass? Evita, they are just children. And so eventually there she sat, the most famous white woman in South Africa. She sat on the floor of the playroom, surrounded by these 40 little kids who can't believe their eyes because there's Evita Besaidnout. They'd seen her on TV the week before, and there she was in the flesh. It's Evita. It's Evita from the TV. Voila! Evita, we love you. Evita, we love you. Evita, we love you. And the kids are dancing around. But they can't dance for a long time because they've got AIDS, so every now and then they've got to stop and get their breath back. And off they go again, One little boy didn't dance at all. He was very frail, very thin, very small. Like a little bird, he sat there just right at Evita's feet and just stared up at her. He couldn't believe his eyes. There she was from the TV into his room. She's right here. And he stared at everything. He couldn't take his eyes off her eye makeup and the lipstick and the earrings and the hair and the necklace and everything. And then eventually he had to touch, so he put out a long, thin little arm with a finger that was like E.T.'s finger. And he went right across and he touched Evita Besaidnout on her cheek and he felt my beard. And he said, you're not a lady, you're not a lady, you're not a lady, you're not a lady. And every time I saw him during the day, he went, but he didn't tell anybody else. He kept my secret. Well, he lived for another 2 months, and then he died of AIDS, but he had quality of life because the people around him loved him and touched him and hugged him and kissed him and knoodled him and gave him quality of death. There's a new one, quality of death. We will not forget little Nkosi Johnson, that giant of a little boy, who for 12 years lived with HIV/AIDS, which he inherited from the angels. But he was not frightened. When he was strong enough, he could stand up to the world and say, I'm not living with AIDS. AIDS is living with me because I'm in charge. And he was for 12 years. Well, in 5 years' time, we will have 2 million AIDS orphans in South Africa. Where will they live without families? Where will they die? Where will they die? On a cement floor alone? Because nobody will go near them because they're too scared? Because nobody knows what it is, because the president hasn't made up his mind yet. I suppose that's where the kids are the future, these 300,000 young people who have said, what can we do? What can we do? I said, first of all, look after yourself. Nobody in the world is going to look after you. Nobody. Look after yourself. Empower yourself with knowledge. Ask questions. Look the thing in the face. Stay alive. And then find out who is sick, who's got AIDS, who's got HIV. Don't chase them away. Don't frighten them. Don't blame them. Play with them. It's okay. Take their hands. Hug them. Give them a cool drink. Go to the movies. Throw stones at white people. Have a nice time. It's okay. Really, truly. You won't catch it. It's easier to catch racism than it is to catch AIDS. The percentages, the statistics, 40% of our workforce is HIV. 1 out of 9 South Africans has got AIDS. As we speak now, on a Saturday, 20% of our 15-year-old kids are being exposed to the virus. Statistics, percentages. Oh, come on. Human rights is the right to be human, not just a statistic. Oh, one of the urban legends that, well, it's no longer an urban legend in South Africa. It's now become a reality. Is the story that a man with AIDS can be cured by raping a child, by raping a woman, by raping a virgin. Well, first of all, there is no cure for AIDS. And yet, in spite of that, every day, about 10 kids in Cape Town alone are being raped by frightened men who know they're sick. They don't even know what it's called, but somebody said, rape a child and you'll be cured, and so they do because nobody says anything. If Diana was alive, she'd be on SATV holding an AIDS child and saying, this is a child, love this child. Love this child, don't rape this child. But she's not there. Nobody's saying anything. Thabo Mbeki says nothing. Nelson Mandela says nothing. Miriam Makeba says nothing. Our great football heroes, Bafana say nothing. Fuck them. Somebody's got to say it. Somebody's got to say, rape is not the cure for anything. So I'm going back to 400 schools, still waiting, plus at least another 1 million kids, and I will say to them as well, I am an optimist. I'm going to live here in South Africa forever and ever. Well, safe sex and common sense willing. And I'm not going to spend the rest of my days going to your funeral, so don't die. Live. Work hard, get onto the stamps and the coins, rule South Africa, and I promise I'll come and work in your garden. And so I want to end with an old pensioner who spent 27 years in a dark cloud, but who came out of that dark cloud to share with us his silver lining, as well as some of the most hideous shirts ever seen on TV.
We're in the African National Congress. We are committed to protect our democracy. We are committed to educate our children. We are committed to fight this HIV/AIDS. We're not quite sure how, but at least we are committed. I'm a very old man. I believe sex is very good. I must have had it once or twice in my life because I have got many grandchildren. But now I must say to my grandchildren, as I say to you, please remember, the struggle is not yet over. For the future of Africa, and eventually your lives, always remember the safest sex is no sex, but if you must, and you will, and you should, always put your love in a plastic bag. But first check your plastic bag, in case it is a free gift from Dr. Zuma.